Hi guys, welcome to the channel. Not done a video for a while, not a build video anyway, done a few for sale videos and stuff. And it's about time we got this thing out the door. It's been in it's been a long while, been a long project this, various reasons. I've had a hell of a lot of work on. Yeah, so it's wiring now. There's not a lot left to do on it, to be honest. There's wiring, there's engine governor and stuff like that. But before I get into it, I want to say massive thank you to everybody that's I've been a part, contributed to the channel, or just moral support and stuff like that when doing these jobs. And I've found a lot of new friends, and yeah, a lot of people have been helping out. So yeah, I want to say a massive thank you, happy new year to everybody, and a massive thank you to like Tim over in the States. He keeps sending me care packages every now and again, like torches, screwdrivers, things like that, which is absolutely phenomenal. Thank you very much, much appreciated. Nigel, who owns the unit, the landlord, and whose Land Rover this is, thank you very much. He sent a lot of work my way, which has helped no end. Which I'm very, very grateful for. And everybody else that just comments on or pops in or throws some work my way. I just want to say thank you to everybody, and yeah, I hope you all have a great new year. Right, now on with the Land Rover. It's got its new boots on. God, they look tiny though. They do look tiny, but they're the original size, they're the standard size. I think they look a bit smaller because it's got all new suspension on it. The suspension is not travelled anywhere, so it's quite high up. But yeah, it's looking good. I've got a problem with Turner Engineering though. See the rust on there? This engine was rebuilt at considerable cost by Turner Engineering, and it's not even turned over yet, it's not even ran or anything. And yeah, so that thermostat housing has gone rusty. So obviously it's been blasted and then just painted straight over the top of it. It's not had any sort of rust preventative or anything like that. But yeah, you'd think at the cost of the bloody thing that they'd do stuff like that. Right, wiring. First thing you're going to do, and I've already done it, I should have filmed it, I do apologise. You're going to thread your wiring loom through the chassis, which I did it while I had access. It was a hell of a lot easier than now, but you can still do it while the body's on. The other option is to use P-clips down the chassis, which does mean drilling holes in the chassis. But I'll show you what I use to get it through is these, and basically they're quite flexible, so they bend quite through. You screw them together, get the right ends, like so, and they do the length of the Land Rover basically. And what you have to do is screw all these together. I'll take it back off there and show you. Your torch, courtesy of Tim, thank you very much. Right, under here you can see where the where it comes through the hole. I still haven't got a rubber bung on there. Unfortunately this loom didn't come one pre-installed, so I know this. I don't know where the loom came from. Nigel, the owner, he brought it. I usually use Auto Sparks looms, and they come with the all the rubber grommets and everything on. So right, easy way, get them wire things through that gap there, down into there, and just thread it through, screw another one on, thread it through until you get up to that hole just there, and you'll hear it thinking about inside there. And then what you need to get is one of these. I apologise for the shoddy camera work. You put the torch down. Use one of these with a hook on the end, and you can get in through the hole and just hook the end of the rods that's gone through and pull it up through the hole. Then get your wiring loom. Shoddy camera work as always. Back in a second. Get your wiring loom. This is obviously the engine loom, the main harness. But say this end, any bits like this, get them and wrap electrical tape all the way around them. Tape them all up so it's nice and straight like that, so there's nothing to snag or anything. Try and keep it as smooth as you possibly can. If you're pulling it through, so if it's coming through this way, through the hole that way, that's fine like that. If it's coming through this way, try and bend them back carefully without wrecking them, and tape them that way. So as it's going through the hole, it sort of goes like that. And then you have to feed it through from this end. Feed it through from the front to the back. Now at the back, on a bigger scale than this, on the wiring loom, you've got two branches on the back. You've got a short one and a long one that just splits like that, right under the back end. Obviously the short one is for the right hand side and the longer one for the left. I'll see if I can show you. So as it comes through, will that torch stay there? It'll stay somewhere. You've got a Y piece just there, so it splits off. Short goes this side, long to the other side, up through a hole in the floor that needs a rubber grommet in it to stop the wire from chafing, and up to the back lights. Simple as that, really. It's a fiddly job, don't get me wrong, it is a fiddly job, but a job worth doing. Do it properly. You can drill holes and use P-clips up the side of the chassis, but it means drilling holes in your chassis, which creates more rust sort of areas, well, areas that can rust and stuff like that. Because although you can drill the hole, you can paint it. When you put the screw through to hold it there, it's going to take the paint back off again, and eventually it will start rusting. Plus, it's not original; it's not standard. What else was I going to say? The wiring looms, although they'll say complete wiring harness, they're never complete. They never are. Depending what lights you're fitting and stuff like that. If I take you over here, put you there. Depending what you're doing, because if you're going for the modern, is it H7, H4 bulbs? I can't remember now. You'll need some plugs for them. Engine harnesses and stuff like that. They don't come with the battery cables or anything really for in the engine bay. Depending on what lights you're using as well. The lights that are going on this, they're not your standard Britpart ones. So if that's come with it, and I'm not 100% sure what it is, I will figure it out. Yeah, so they don't come with battery cables to the starter and stuff like that. You're going to need a fuse box, you're going to need a voltage regulator. It doesn't come with any wiring for the regulator. What I've got, earth straps, that's battery cable, more earth straps, just general bits like that. There's no kit, no matter where you get it from, that comes with everything. You probably could phone up somewhere like Auto Sparks or somewhere and just say, look, this is what I've got, this is what I'm building, I need every single wire that goes in for that, and they could probably sort something out. Let's swallow my tea. So you're going to need a few bits and bobs. The earth terminals that go to the body, you're going to need them. I'm not sure if the screens or the camera's misting up. Yeah, I'll tell you what, I'll go get them. So finally found them. Yeah, they're for your earths. Two bits, they go like that. You can just put one if you only need two, but they tend to go like that, have a riveted down or small little nut and bolt in there. And that's what, and they're pennies to buy, so a lot of electrical problems with classic cars come down to bad earths. So yeah, I recommend doing it. You may as well do it while you're at it. Same with these bullet connectors. You're going to need some of these. You got two different types of them. Basically single and double, and these little sods here, if I can pick it up with my Shrek fingers, the new bullet connectors. You're going to need these depending on, especially with lights and stuff like that, depending on what sort of lights you're fitting, because this one's having the Lucas style lights with the metal ring around there, and these, unlike the later lights that have the wires coming out, these obviously don't, and the wiring loom doesn't come with that wire either, so obviously it's proper glass, so be careful. Chrome ring. So these have standard bullet connectors on there, and these fur up quite a lot. They do, they are a bit of a pain. So obviously that just then goes in there with your wire. It's a bit loose, that, so it won't crimping up. Make sure you crimp them up tight when they're in there, and yeah, you're good to go. Put that on there. Right, obviously this is just part one. It's going to be a few parts trying to get this wiring loom into place. It's going to be a bit of trial and error, because one thing you're going to need is manuals. Haynes Book of Lies I've got here. But the problem is there's no wiring loom diagram that covers everything. Over the years they made sort of changes in wire colours and configuration, stuff like that, and it's changes you can't see just by looking at it, unless you're a real sort of wiring guru. But it makes it a pain in the arse, because there's no, like just in this one book, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different wiring diagrams. Wiring diagram series 2A with headlamps in wings, negative earth, series 2A negative earth, series 2A with combined electrical services, whatever that means, starter and heater plug switch, positive earth. And that just says wiring series 2A positive earth. So Google's your friend as well. So you have to use a combination of everything, because not only do the diagrams not cover everything, but nobody builds specific looms as such, unless the looms you get off the shelf are more of a generic loom, so they don't all sort of match. Colour coordination's not all there, and blah blah, pain in the arse. But for a bit of trial and error, one thing you've got to remember is, obviously safety wise, leave the battery off while you're messing around wires, getting stuff in. That goes without saying, but everything has a positive and a negative, and that's pretty much it. You don't get more simple than the wiring looms than these. There's nothing to be scared of. It can be a bit daunting, a bit confusing, stuff like that, and yeah, I get confused. I'm confused with this one, and I've hardly even started it, just purely because of the amount of differences. Now I've gone through, see, I know what certain bits are. This bit goes through to the instruments. You can tell that with the big rubber bungs that's on there. These with the female spade connectors, that goes to the fuse box. Don't know what they are. I think they go to the starter relay, which is this one. If you've got a later engine, a later starter on there from series 3, it's all built into the starter motor, so you don't really need that. What else have we got here? I labelled that one. Rear lights, brake switch. Let's go through what's what the brake switch on this is. Green, and green with a purple trace. The rear lights are pretty self-explanatory, really. They'll go down there, and there's nothing else down there. So these come down. Now these are your headlight high beam wires that come down the bulkhead, and they go to the switch on the floor, which is this. So they come down. Obviously there's no wires that come off that to that, so they've got to be made up. Them ones, not 100% sure. Not 100% sure on the yellow. That's that. Yeah, and that's pretty much all. Oh, we've got this here. Look, this long bit that comes down. The easiest explanation is not sure, not sure. I do know, but I can't remember. And then you get to the lights. Blue and white, on these bits of wiring, blue and white trace and blue and red trace are always lights. Red can be going anywhere. There seems to be a lot of green in these wiring looms as well. So it's a bit of trial and error. I'm not going to pretend I'm an expert on wiring. I've done a few, but like I said, because they're all slightly different, and I've never used this loom before, I can't remember where it came from. Nigel brought it before I even started on the project. But yeah, that's it. We need to get this mess into there. So I'll get you set up over there. I'll start threading it through and get it into places where it needs to be, roughly. You're going to need a couple of these P-clips. Yeah, and we'll I'll get it into place, and that'll probably wrap this video up, and then I'll start plugging things in on the next one. Right, so this is the easy bit. Get your wiring loom, figure out what end sort of goes where. So we know that goes down for the rear lights and the brake switch, so that needs to go down there. Then they go for the light switch on the floor, roughly sort of speaking. They go to the fuse box, as does that. They've got rubber grommets on, so they've got to go through the bulkhead. Which, put that down there. You'll probably find you're going to have to get a step drill and drill these holes out a bit more. If you've got a new bulkhead, if it's a standard original one, then you should be fine. This for the headlights sort of goes around. This is where you're going to need the P-clips, and it goes down there like so. See, I've already put them in place, so I'm not messing around. And I don't know if you can see 100%. So that leaves the, oh yeah, that's what that was for. The brown and black trace, that's the horn. And these go through the hole in the grill. I will go around in a second and show you where everything's gone a little bit better. In a second, I'll just thread them through there. Like so. I'll show you in a second. Right, this first hole, that's for your speedo cable. What you're going to do if you had to drill them out, I'm just sort of putting this in temporary so I know where everything is. I'll come back at a later date. I might need to make these holes a bit bigger, so yeah, you'll have to drill these holes out. The first one is for your speedo cable. Second one, I can't remember which way round it goes now. I think it's the thinner one. Don't 100% quote me on that. Then you have to just sort of thread it through, sometimes a wire at a time, plug at a time. Bit fiddly, take your time, no rush, try not to snag any wires on anything. Yeah, just go around, deburr your hole first. What's that? That's the fuel gauge. Put that through there. Like so. And everything up to the rubber grommet. The rubber plug goes in there. So this white wire, if you've got it, comes up and goes to the fuse box. Now this is the tricky one, getting all these through. Like so. Again, everything up to the rubber grommet needs to go through the hole. So that's it. I'm going to thread all these through, make sure everything lines up where it needs to be, get all this side of things sort of wired up, plugged up, and then I'll pull these wires back out once I know 100%, and then make the holes bigger if I need to. Touch up the paint around the hole so it doesn't rust. Oh well, get them all through, it's getting tight there now. It helps if you try and get your bigger plugs through first. Come to these buggers here, which I'm going to, well, that might fit through at that. That might just fit through at that, or it might not. Come on, Shrek fingers, work. Yeah, I can tell you now, I'm going to need to make the hole bigger. Or put a different grommet on there, and that goes up there like that. So now you've got the loom looking something like, if they go up to there, that goes up to there. Oh, sorry, I've got a bit of a cold, a runny nose. I've spotted a mistake already. This, I'm not pulling that back out. I'll pull this lot back out. This wire wants to go down and under there. In fact, I'll do that now. So, gentle, gentle. So that now goes down and under. Around the back of there, and I think we want a bit more slack on this end, so we'll move that down a bit. Right. Oh, my tripod's stuck. There we go. And then this, if I can get you in a position where you can see. I apologise if you can't. Goes through this hole here. They go through. This is, I don't know if I mentioned it actually, this is a positive earth car, so, and that rubber grommet goes in there, but that hole's not quite, well, it might be big enough. These are always tricky to fit. Got to fit that at a later date. So these wires now go through to the side lights on the other side, so they'll go through this hole on this side. And then through the hole in the wing. Like so. And they're a rubber grommet short. So yeah, and that's it. 2 P-clips to bolt it up to the inner wing. This comes this way a bit more. So then you've got lights, side lights, sorry, horn. The side lights there's red, green wheel, white trace and black. The horn is brown and black trace. So once you've got it in position, it's sort of, to a degree, self-explanatory. Headlights, so you've got black, blue red trace, blue white trace, and then through to these side lights again, you've got green, red trace, black and red. So you can't really go wrong, too far wrong, with the positioning of it. Once you've got it laid out, everything sort of falls more or less into where it needs to be. I say more or less. So yeah, I think that'll wrap this video up for today. If I'll put this video on, if anybody wants to know anything, just give us a shout. Let me spin you around a bit. Yeah, if anybody wants to has got any questions or any suggestions or anything before I put the next video on, give me a shout. Don't forget to put them back on. I'll put them there. Yeah, and it's just a case of, like I said, the headlight wiring, that's going to want extending with them plugs, because it's just them lights take a modern bulb, which is a massive improvement. Everybody knows, everybody who drives Land Rovers knows the headlights are terrible. So that's a massive improvement. Extend the wiring to the side lights and the indicators. Green's usually indicator and red will be side light on them wires that come through. And then you just got to figure that lot out to go with the clocks and the lights and the dash and switches, ignition and wipers and stuff like that. But that's another thing that they don't mention in the Haynes manual, at least anyway, is the twin wipers, how the wiring goes for that. There's no mention whatsoever about the start solenoid on all the diagrams, whether it's the earliest Series 2 2A. They all show the starter solenoid on the starter motor like Series 3, but they're not. So that's to figure out. And yeah, I'll have a little tinker. I'll get this video on very soon, probably tonight. And yeah, I'll see you all soon. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a good new year. I'll see you soon. Bye bye.